Welcome back to the IPA podcast where we keep it real and raw. I'm your host, Mr. IPA, and I got another special guest here today. I'll allow her to introduce herself.
I am Raeven, TheRealRaeven.
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 How'd you come up with the name?
For real? Well, my real name is Amanda. My middle name is Ray. I worked at a studio where everybody had their rap names and like their artist names, and I was just going by Amanda Mack.
Amanda Mack.
So my ex started calling me Ray, and then they got somehow into TheRealRaeven, making bird calls and stuff, and it took off. So now
Wait, they was
TheRealRaeven.
making bird calls and shit?
Yeah, I don't know, like a raven. They were trying to make it cooler.
You got a raven tattoo?
No.
No.
I have a sparrow.
You need a
Same,
raven.
same, but different.
You need a raven.
Don't put that in my head, then I'll end up getting it.
Damn,
But yeah, that's how it came about.
You want to explain to the people what you do and who you are?
Sure. Okay, so I am a photographer, creative director, project management for artists, usually rappers, hip-hop artists. I just help do all of your digital marketing, photos, rollouts, covers, anything that you need aesthetic for. I help you figure out.
So I'm gonna let the people know.
Okay.
We already had this interview, so like the shit ended up getting messed up. So could you just explain like how you got into like creative direction and kind of just like your story and stuff, just like real quick?
Yes. Okay, so I never did photography before. I've always worked in restaurants. When COVID happened, I was an event manager up north, lost my job. The person I was with at the time owned a recording studio, so they asked me to come in and do a little bit of paperwork with them. Paperwork wasn't that fun, so they had a camera, told me to start doing behind the scenes of people in the studio. But then I did one, I did two, shows started happening again, and then photography just took off. So like I still work in restaurants, but all of a sudden I had people just hitting up the studio and hitting me up on social media back to back to back to shoot stuff.
Yeah.
I was always quiet. I was always like on the side of the stage just shooting shows. Didn't really say much, do much, but I just worked on my editing like heavy. And then I think once people started paying attention to like my color grading and stuff like that, that's where artists started hitting me up to work directly.
Yeah.
And photography turned into creative direction, and then people wanted me to just basically come up with their entire project and the aesthetic and vibe for it from there.
Have you ever thought about doing videography along with it?
I literally we just had a call like yesterday, the day before, and it wasn't even Drew asking me if I want to do it. It was him basically saying, when are you going to do it? Because I love video. I was saying to them, if there were like 8 more hours in a day for me to like learn how to operate video, but then also be jumping in Premiere and getting better at it, or DaVinci, then. But I love it. Like I know.
It's definitely a I don't know. I feel like because even I have thought about like getting into it, but I could tell that it's definitely like it's like a whole different ball game.
It really is,
in
and
comparison.
people think they go hand in hand. Like if I know how to do photos and edit the way I do, that I should know how to do videos. But like I have a whole different appreciation for videographers because I've sat beside them. Like I know the time they put into editing a video, color in itself. Like that is fucking wild.
And that's the crazy part. Just like sitting there rewatching the same shit, like spending like 4 hours watching the same exact thing.
Yes.
And it's like that's why for a lot of people who hit people up like with like long wait times and shit, you gotta understand, bro. Like that shit, even with what you're doing with like editing photos and shit, it's just like sometimes I can lock in for like 2 hours straight and just get something done all at one time, but like most of the time I have to do it in increments,
like little
because
batches. That's so hard to explain to artists though, because they've worked with you and paid you to like do their stuff. They want their product back. But I'm trying to like explain to them like just let my creative process happen. Like I don't know, like I go through the same thing, but I don't know.
So where do you find a lot of like your creative inspiration? Like, is it more so, because I know that people give you the reference of what they want the product to look like, but I know you also have to add your own taste into it too.
Yeah, like at the core of it. I mean, it's probably not that exciting of an answer, but I'm like a Pinterest fiend. Like I swear, like I've had a Pinterest for years and years and years. I used to use it for like recipes and shit like that.
Yeah.
But it is so underrated, the art that's on there and the aesthetic that's on there. So like I have a whole huge private photography board that has so much stuff on it. As soon as I like it, I just save it. So then I pay attention to it so often. I'm on there daily. When I meet an artist and that we start talking and they're showing me music or they're telling me like certain ideas they have, even if they're sending me inspiration, my brain is already filtering through my huge Pinterest board of shit I want to
Yeah.
do. So I have all these ideas. I'm just waiting for certain artists to mention certain things or me vibe with them a certain way that then I can take the ideas I already have and like spin it with them.
Have you ever?
Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. Because it's more so just like, you know, like you already have the know-how and like kind of. I feel like that's what would make it exciting. Is just like when people tell you different shit that you've never looked into.
Yes.
So then you're just like, damn, like maybe this could be cool, you know. And then it like builds back up like the reason, like the excitement that of like the freshness of new shit all the time, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you ever thought about making like music or anything, or was it always just like you wanted to be on the behind the scenes?
You don't want me making music. No, I don't know. I've worked in, like I said, my ex was a sound engineer. So like I've always been in music. We were together 9 years. And then before him, I lived in Detroit and I dated a guy for 5 years that was in like a Midwest. Like that's when punk rock was like big.
Yeah.
I've been in studios for like years and years and years.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of not really wanting, I don't know. I don't know. I've been around it. I think it would have caught on by now and I would be doing that if I was supposed to be. I'm way more of like a visual creative person.
I feel that.
I don't need to be making music.
I feel that. Because I think like music isn't for everybody as much as like, as much as it's fun, you know, it's fun, like the whole process of creating, being in the studio, like listening to somebody make some good shit, you know, it's like, it's a vibe in of itself. But that being said, though, like it's definitely not for everyone.
No,
you know?
you know how many times they've tried to get me to go in the booth, like being funny in the middle of the night, and like, or just I don't even want to do that. I'm like, don't put the pressure on me. Just leave me alone. Let me just sit on the side. And
not even like ad libs.
No, I don't know why.
Damn.
I'm such an outgoing, like extroverted person until they tell me to get in there, and then literally my heart's like racing. I'm so sweaty for no reason. It's around all my people too.
It's intense as fuck being behind that mic.
I don't like that.
and that was one thing. Like even when I was making music, I was like, bro, I just never felt comfortable.
Yeah,
you know, like it was like.
So that's how I don't know. Sometimes it's fun to be nervous because that means obviously you're doing something new for yourself. But if it's happening over and over and over, I'm like, I'm basically causing myself anxiety attacks and nothing's getting better. So maybe I just take it as a sign.
Yeah, just stressing yourself out for nothing.
Yeah.
Damn, man. So,
right?
that being said, like at this juncture in your whole career, like what have you been kind of working on, or what have you been trying to incorporate into your style that like you feel like you're lacking?
Ooh, I feel like I'm lacking. Damn. I think as far as my art right now, I'm trying to get more honestly structured. I'm not so much like the creative part of it. I think like my vision and my editing and stuff like that is like solid.
Yeah,
I think that's like going. It's like the business side of it that I never really took as serious until this year. And the reason I started taking it or had to take it more serious this year is because bigger artists were hitting me up. So like when they're asking for like contracts or like I don't know, just all that stuff. I was like, man, I'm just like I was just like setting the Cash App and then showing up to the shoot and kind of running gun. That was the way I was working, but people want more seriousness and I have to do that. And like I did my LLC and EIN and all that stuff, but I just have to be more structured with it if I want to continue to grow with these bigger artists and like.
Damn. Do you ever see yourself having like a core team? Because I know you work like closely with a lot of people, but do you ever see yourself having just like a team to help you like a lot of this shit like get further along?
I hope to God one day. I was hanging out with my friend Liddell last week, and he had mentioned creating a media team. I had never ever thought of Daily as a media team. Like I always think of Daily as myself, my brand, but I never thought like, oh, damn, there might be photographers or videographers or graphic designers that want to be Daily too. I don't know. My brain literally just did that last week.
Shit, I mean, like, because even think about it, like, visual art is such like it's almost like a must-have if you're trying to become like a bigger like artist in your own regard, you know? So like having different people being a part of that whole unit, you know, like it becomes bigger than you, you know? And I think that's kind of like the direction it's heading is like you're starting to like see like the real potential of like what Daily can be.
I think so too. I have so many people that hit me up, like photographers a lot, graphic designers that'll ask me about like, do you sell your color packs? Or like, do you do anything on YouTube that I can watch you edit? Like, do you go live ever? I swear, I don't know why, I just never thought of this. But
I mean, bro,
it would be super dope to have a team. If I could treat them right, pay them right, move right, lead properly, then yes. but I still am very protective of Daily as my baby right now, growing it.
Yeah.
So the other day I got a little, like, I don't know, on the defense when he brought it up. But, I just know it comes from, like, a loving place, but it'd be so cool to have a team, like, help me out.
And I think it's just, like, because this wasn't something that you've, like, always pursued. It was something that started out as, like, it was fun, you were helping out at the studio and shit, and it just kind of, like, flourished into more than you ever thought,
Yes.
Which is, I think that's why, like, it makes it all the more, like beautiful to watch it kind of, like, all come together, because it's, like, it's all organic,
Yeah. And with it going that way, I didn't really have any expectations, and I still don't, other than holding myself to a certain standard.
Yeah.
But that way, like, I had nothing in mind, so everything happening, I'm just like, damn, man, like, this is cool for no reason.
It's nice. It's not about the destination, but about the journey.
Oh, look at you with the poem over here.
Nice little one-liner and
Poetic.
shit. Damn, bro. So, like, tell me about bartending then, because, like, I know, like, this, like, that the daily shit is like the shit that everyone knows you for, but bartending, I know that's, like, kind of like what keeps the engine running, like, in the meantime.
It has to, and it's there's no way to explain to people. So I've been working in restaurants. I started working in a restaurant when I was 17. That was my first job.
Yeah. What restaurant?
It's called Olga's Kitchen in Detroit. It's like Hey, it's a chain of, like, a Euro place.
Okay.
It's not bad, but I was young. Like, I was literally working so much that, like, I would text my mom from school and be like, hey, do you care if I just, like, leave school today? I'd rather go to work. Like, someone's giving up a shift. Like, I've always been on my grind.
About that bread.
Always. And, dude, serving and bartending is, like, crazy money. I've tried to leave and do hourly stuff where, like, I mentioned before, like, I left and worked for this, like, tech company out of London, like, earlier last year, 9 to 5, and literally in the middle of the Zoom call, I would just, like, shut my laptop and never log back on. I can't do it. And then I went right back to the bar.
Damn.
So bartending is, like, I'm telling you, if you've bartended or worked in a restaurant, you could do anything else, because you have to deal with so much shit, so many people. The hours are crazy. Your memory has to be on point.
Spot on, or you're not getting paid.
Dude, and then it's tiring. So, like, a lot of times I feel bad because artists are creative at night, majority of them. I work at night, so I clock in at 5. I get out at, like, 1 in the morning. So I can't answer my phone and stuff. That frustrates people. There's no way to explain to them that that's, like, I'm sorry, can't be on my phone, like, at night.
Yeah.
And then waking up early in the morning to try to edit and do all this stuff and schedule stuff during the day is not always easy either. So
I was gonna say, what the fuck is your sleep schedule?
Dude,
like?
I don't know. Like, it's been bad lately. Before, I was so strict on, I would come home, still go to bed at, like, 2 in the morning, but my alarm went off at 6:45 every day, and I'd make myself get up, set my shit up for that. Now it's gotten, like, the bar I work at is in between the Aragon and the Riviera. So our concert season is right now in Chicago. Yeah. So we're getting our asses handed to us every day. And then I'm working, like, 5 and 6 days a week. So my sleep, like, I've been sleeping until, like, 9:30, 10. It's been shitty. I feel bad. But that's also a normal sleep schedule now.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you're only human, bro.
Oh, my God, it's so tired. That's why half the time I'm raspy. Yeah. So I'm yelling across the bar, but I do cool stuff. Like, last week my table was, I go up to the table, and I go to take the drink order, and it's All Time Low. Do you know that band? You ever heard of them? All Time Low?
All Time Low?
They were, like, big in the 2000s. They had a show with Aragon.
Oh, I feel shitty.
They're cool, but, like, they were cooler before, but it was, like,
I'm gonna listen. You gotta show me. What's a good song?
I don't know. Don't put that pressure on me right now.
Come on, you acting like you're a fan or something.
I knew who they were. I'm not a fan. I'll send them to you anyway. But, like, it's cool. People come in there. I don't know. All time low. Do you know Danzig? I don't.
I don't either.
It's like an old, the Misfits, I guess. The guy from the Misfits. I don't listen to him. He came in last week too. Got to fight with him. He's an asshole.
Why?
But he's just a weirdo.
Were you guys just, like, talking shit to each other or some shit?
He wanted to move. He had a table, but people kept coming in, and he wanted to move tables. But I'm like, there's a concert tonight. We're absolutely, like, really booked up. Like, you can't be moving around and adding, like, 10 people. And he, like, holds up his artist thing, like, in my face and was like, I am the artist tonight. I am the concert. I was like, I don't care, man. Like, I don't know who you are.
Yeah, I literally don't give a
fuck. He's like, I'm not fucking dicking around with you tonight. And then he's like, let me talk to the manager. I go, I am. I was like, what do you need?
Are you actually the manager?
I mean, I'm keyhole. Like, I don't know. I wasn't the manager that day. I was on the floor, but
supervisor.
Yeah, I'm one of the key holders, like the closing managers. But I wasn't that night. But I was like, do whatever you want. I don't care. Just go wherever. Yeah. So I work at a cool bar. I get to meet a lot of people, but
You see, I actually used to work at fucking Denny's. Like, I think I had told you. Yeah.
That's why I said, I'm like, wow, you really, like, you chose a crazy-ass place to serve.
Bro, that shit, I'll tell you a story. Like, because I used to transfer from, okay, so I used to transfer from, I had worked at the Denny's that was at the truck stop that I was telling you about. That shit was fucking god awful.
Craziest.
Then I used to work at this other Denny's down at the college, but the college town I lived in, outside of the actual campus itself, it was just like meth central. Like that was like one of the like highest meth, like it was like the meth capital of Indiana type shit. So I get down to this fucking Denny's. And I want to say this is probably like the 5th or 6th shift I've worked there. Like I'm not familiar with this place at all.
Yeah, sure.
So I go up to this table, or I go up to greet these people because we didn't have a hostess at the time. So I greet them and I go sit them down. And it's like they're like two like middle-aged like white dudes. They look like their eyes are kind of like bloodshot and shit, but I'm assuming they might have smoked or something.
Okay.
Not really thinking too deep into it. So sit them down at the table. And I'm just like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. What drinks you guys want? You know, waters. Go there, get the water, come back. One of the guys, he's like rolling his like sleeve up and shit. He had like a kind of like a baseball tee on. So he's rolling his sleeve up and he has this fucking thing like tied around his arm and shit. So he unties it and I just see blood starting to come down his fucking arm and shit. And I'm like, yeah, bro, you gotta leave. You gotta leave. You can't be doing shit like that.
Okay, that's the other thing is that that's the clientele Denny's has to think that is appropriate. Like, let's wait. I'm gonna take this off and I'm gonna wait till we sit down for dinner or sit down for whatever meal.
You couldn't have did this in the car?
That's what I'm saying. So like the fact that mindset is already existing and the people walking in there.
Bro.
Okay. How many shifts did you work at Denny's? How long did you stay? How long did
3
you
years.
Last? 3 years? Oh my god. Okay. Damn. I would have worked anywhere. Why did you stay
it was just
Denny's
like,
for 3 years?
Bro, like I didn't have a car and like the Denny's was legitimately right across the street from the campus. So like I would just, you know, like get home from classes, get ready, go to Denny's, fucking work my whatever shift. And I'm not gonna lie, the money was kind of decent because it was on a college town. Yeah, so like it was like I was able to get like $120 a night, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that paid my rent.
Denny's,
that's gold, you know. It's fucking Denny's, but
yeah, I feel that.
But yeah, so I was averaging like a decent amount, enough to where I could support myself. So I was like, you know, I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I was also like writing for the school newspaper and doing other shit on the side. But that job, I have like I'm gonna get on here for one of my story times and tell like some more stories about that shit, bro, because that job was insane.
Stories that come out of a restaurant in general, dude, like are not things I feel like you'd experience at an office or anything.
And I try to tell people like, bro, like working at a restaurant, like you said, you'll be able to do anything if you could last in that environment as a server, because you're literally sitting there talking to yourself the whole time, like 3 root beers, you know, like, and then just like,
dude, and I never write anything down.
Nah. Ever. After a while, it's just kind of, well, I don't know. If it was like a big ass order, then I'm, you know, I'm definitely. No. But if it was just like, you know, just a little 2-top or a little 4-top or something like that, you know, it's all muscle memory at that point. But
I just remember. But and too, like people, there are like memes and stuff. People joke about it, but I do have friends that are like in their 50s. I hang out with, and I also have. Like, one of my best friends is, like, just turned 21. You know what I mean? So, like, we're all over the place. But when we all get together, we vibe so well because we have this shared PTSD and this shared trauma of the restaurant industry.
Man,
but,
bro.
I mean, damn, like, you could do anything if you worked at... You can do anything if you worked at Denny's for 3 years.
Have you ever gotten any, like, clientele for Daily Vision from bartending?
So many. So, okay, no. Just, just in general. So, well, I took off. I didn't work in the restaurant industry for like 2 years. Mm-hmm. So when I started living on my own last year, I went back to working like at the bar just for like more money when I was living by myself. So that time around was when I started meeting people. Before, no one gave a shit like who I was because I wasn't doing anything. But like I was waiting. Like there was one time I walked out to the patio and there's a woman on it like working on her laptop. I talked to her for like a few minutes. The next time I went out, she's like, "What do you do?" I was like, what? She's like, what do you do? Because I can tell by how you're dressed. And she's like, you don't do this. So we get to talking or whatever. Turns out she has like this magazine. She does like all these women events. She like runs this stuff in the city. Wow. So she and I linked. And then same thing. I wait on these 2 guys. I go up to them. And they say the same thing. They're like, what do you do? Because, like, it doesn't seem like you work here. So they just moved here from, like, Miami or something. They're photographers, videographers, like, doing big shit, and we're still friends. Like, one came in not like a couple weeks ago and brought somebody with him from out of town, so I met that artist. Like, just came in to say hi. Like, been staying.
Yeah.
I met, like, one of our regulars hangs out at Classic all the time, and I'm good friends with him. And we just realized we have so many mutuals.
Wow.
Like, so
That's how it goes,
many.
bro.
Like,
That's how it goes.
It always happens because people, when you work behind the bar, it's almost like you're a free therapist to the people at the bar. They trap you. Don't do that to your bartenders. They trap you. I have no choice but to talk to you because I'm on the clock. So, but it works out sometimes. So a lot of people I end up talking and they're like, oh shit, I'm a graphic designer. I work for this. And then we just link up and I have them. Like, I don't know. I've met so many people doing this. And just the bar I work at because it's in between venues. So a lot of people go to shows and then come in there that like work in the city.
Yeah. Damn, man. I mean, how I feel like it's gonna be for you. It's gonna definitely be like a little bittersweet when, like, because your trajectory is only going up, so it's gonna be bittersweet when you have to like walk away from that. You don't think so? I think you'll miss it. I think you'll miss it just based off of how you talk about it.
I will miss the nonchalance of it. So like, the restaurant runs itself. So when you go in there, you could be doing whatever you want as long as your shit's taken care of and like, and you're good at what you do. So I'm just basically I come in, clock in, and leave. So like that is kind of fun when you're not leading always.
Yeah.
It puts the pressure on you when you're like running shit.
Yeah, yeah.
But no, I think I need a good break from it. The reason I go back is because the money is so good.
Yeah.
So if I'm doing something I love that's making me the same money I'd make bartending, then I think I'll be okay. Yeah. It's hard when I leave and then the money just pulls me back in there.
And that, man, like I hate how everything really does revolve around like the bread. Like it does. Because at the end of the day, like if it's not making money, like it could be a hobby, but how much you invest into it is going to vary based off of it if it's making any money.
Even your brain, like if you're worried about paying your bills, like you can't even create properly. And anybody that says like they don't think that, they're lying. They are. Because even for me, like I'm constantly working to have several jobs. Like it is always on my mind. Like money. Like
it has to be.
When you have no one to fall back on, like that is what it is. Like I feel like I hustle 24/7.
Damn. How long have you been living on your own?
Since January of last year.
Damn.
First time in my life at 32. I've just always lived with boyfriends, literally. And then last year I just said, fuck it, started living on my own.
Yeah.
But
how freeing has it been?
Oh my God. People joke when Keem, another one of my best friends, he stays with me for elongated periods of time, like weeks. Finally I have to tell him, like, Keem, you gotta go home. But he'll always make the joke, like, he wants to stay there, he wants to live there. I'm like, you're not living here. Like, I could live with him. We get along so well. Yeah. But I am so protective of that house now and my peace. I used to be so afraid to sit alone, be alone, sit with my thoughts. And now that's like, I'm very picky about who I let at least stay in my space. Like, people come and go in my house, especially for meetings and stuff. We do a lot of stuff there. But to actually be a person I allow in my life to be in my home often and hang out and stuff, that's like really hard for me now that I have that. Yeah,
I mean, it's just like, you know, because I feel like it has to be like a vetting process. Like, it has to be a process of getting to understand, like, okay, how are you when you're not cool? Like, if you're like, what do you do if some shit goes wrong?
Yes.
You know, and that tells me everything I need to know about you, because everything is always good when everything's good. But once that one little thing happens, you'll find out if that person's crazy or not.
I'm like such a neat freak too. The cleanliness of my house. So, I mean, my house gets messy, like everyone's house does, but all the messes are mine. Yeah. So living with somebody, I didn't realize before when I was living with someone, like, they were so messy. And it affected my mental health. 100%. Like, it made me be a meaner person because my home was not in, like, my brain wasn't clear. Yeah. So now, like, I don't know. Like, that's everything I, like, nitpick now about possible. I have so many friends be like, do you need a roommate? I'm like, no. I'd rather work 3 jobs and pay my rent and my bills than have a roommate right now.
Yeah, man. 3 jobs plus the fucking... Yeah, man. Daily... That shit... like... So how does your family feel about it? How does
Yeah.
your family feel about it?
So I was saying this before too. I think they were terrified, especially again when I became single and started living on my own. They were just like, okay, like you got to figure this shit out and like get a real job. Like I said before, like my dad's an engineer. He was a cop for fun for a couple years, like military. My mom's a preschool director. My sister has a phenomenal job, like literally helping run a company. My brother has like they all have these like great jobs that are like jobs, careers. And then no one in my family is like an entrepreneur that started a company. And I think it's hard for them to like fully comprehend that that's doable because I haven't seen someone do it in close proximity to them. So, and I'm doing it and I'm going to do it. So I think it's a little bit scary to them. Now that I've caught traction, and like I said, yes, please. Like I said before, I think it was funny. I was out, I had family here and like we were out somewhere and
One more?
no, I'm good, thank you. Sorry. I was still holding like, tell me when.
Like, all right, big dog.
As soon as someone like out in public was like Raeven, like ran up, that's when I think they were like, okay, wait a second, like maybe you are doing something out here, like funny stuff like that, or like we ran into like running into people at shows and stuff. Like we ran into like Taylor Bennett at Chance's show. My sister was so cute. She was like shaking, like trying to say hi to him. You know what I mean? He's all cool and stuff, but Lindsay's like, this is so crazy that this is like normalcy. Like this is your life. Like this is just not a big deal.
Yeah.
So I think now that they've seen, I don't know, like the magazine I was written up in, my mom thought it was cool. She took it more serious.
Yeah. Damn,
I'm doing things the right way, so I don't know how they feel. I don't ask, but I can tell they're cooler about it.
Well, I mean, like, I think the main factor that I feel like just based off of what you're saying, they're starting to understand is you have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, it's not gonna all be it like it wasn't even daily when you first started. You know, so like all the shit, all the progression, like, is worth it if you feel like it's going to be, like, if your heart's in that shit, then it's going to be everything you make of it, you know, because you're not going to accept it being anything less.
Yeah.
That being said, though, like, I don't know, bro. It's almost like you have to say that you're the shit before anybody else says that you're the shit.
And I say it all the time.
Yeah.
It is. I think before I was saying, like, I don't know if I'm delusional or what it is. It's not even cockiness, because it's not even, like, there's nothing negative behind it. And sometimes I associate cockiness with having some sort of negativity. I don't know. It's not. I just, like, I know I'm the shit. Like, I know I'm that person.
Yeah.
So, like, repeating that over and over, like.
I don't think it's delusion more so than belief.
Okay.
I feel like it's belief.
I think I just say delusion sometimes to make other people feel better, because if they can't understand how I so strongly am about myself and my brand, then to them, I don't know. I don't ever want to rub people the wrong way, like, with that. But I think my brand is dope. Like, I think I'm going to be, like, Cole Bennett is, like, amazing. Like, Lyrical Lemonade is, like, a humongous thing. Like, Daily has the potential to be a massive thing like that, like, right up behind there, if I just keep doing it the right way. And I have no doubt. Like, there's nothing in my brain that's like, oh, it would be cool to be like Cole Bennett or Lyrical Lemonade, but I couldn't. Like, no, my brain's like, just keep working, man. Like, things fall into place. Like, you're right there.
And it's like you could take little mental notes of what someone's doing right without, like, biting their style. You know, like, it's completely different if I'm just trying to recreate you as opposed to just, like, understanding that you did this right. So,
My bad.
hey, okay.
Just ignore that.
But just understanding that you did it right, or seeing how someone did it right, and it's like, okay, I can identify with that, and maybe I could, like, use some of the same tactics they use to help me get a little further along.
Yes, not their art. It's like not their art, but their way of going about things. Yes, them just as a leader and entrepreneur.
Yeah. Like,
I look at Cole. I don't know. I look up to him. Like, I watch his TED Talk and stuff. And, like, if you watch Cole Bennett's TED Talk, you can tell when he's doing it, his voice is so shaky. Like, he's nervous. But we all thought at the time he was the shit. Like, seeing him go from that to where he is now, I'm just like, it just takes time. Like, he didn't stop. And he was doing the same thing, working with smaller artists, just, like, growing in Chicago. Yeah. But I do the same thing. Like, I love Complex. I love Vice. I love Paper Magazine. So just pulling little things from all over and paying attention and tying it into what I'm doing.
Yeah, man. So what do you feel like is your next step then? Like, what else you got coming like,
my
in the future?
My next step, well, DrewTheKid, that's my main artist. I'm the creative director for. This is the first artist I've, like, fully taken on. We're building out our core team right now, and his traction is amazing, and he's doing things, like, so the right way. So I think that I want to get to a point where we are just a team for one another, and I don't necessarily have to be running around the city 24/7 working with everyone. I do want to work with a lot of people, but I would just like to like elevate as a core with that team and then go from there. Because my standards like keep growing of who I want to work with. I love helping smaller artists, but when you have bigger, like big name artists I have on Spotify that I'm listening to, and then they're sliding into my DMs about work, that is just like mind blowing to me.
Yeah.
So I need to hold myself up to these new standards and follow through with them, and not fall back on like the shit I was doing before. Like, it's a whole shift in everything, like routine, but I have to do it. Like, things have to continue to get more serious.
I think it's just the natural progression of it, you know, because now it's getting
it's intimidating a little bit sometimes.
But I mean, it's like this is in a way like this is what you wanted, you know, like you work your ass off. So now it's like now you're getting
you gotta
the credit.
kind of answer to it. Like I know. I know. I don't know. I'm gonna get better with bigger names, networking, stuff like that, popping out to stuff more. Just I don't know, staying focused. Yeah. You know.
Shit. You have anything? You have anything else you want to tell the people?
No, I think we got a lot covered.
All right, for sure.
I think we good.
Yeah. Well, you guys heard it here first.
Tell me lies. Tell me sweet, oh sweet, white lies. Why the